I have been trying to make this video for like 2 years. But when the hell am I going to put this out if not October? I'm writing this on the 7th, so I gotta record and edit this real quick if I want to make the entirely self-imposed deadline of Halloween. So, pray for me. Horror games are very special to me because they do something no other video game can do quite as effectively, and that is to make you feel a primal emotion, fear. Fear is a strange emotion because it comes from a feeling of danger. Our innate fears, like loud noises, are tied to danger. Monkey brain hear loud noise, monkey man run away. That's why jump scares are so effective. Just a loud noise that instinctively activates your fight or flight. And equally why they're so lame. It's the easiest way to scare someone. The easy joke would be to imply I'm going to do it to you, and then not do it. But that's kind of played out. But a bait and switch where I do jump scare you would be a dick move, so I'm not good at transition. I am not a big Five Nights at Freddy's guy, but I have been watching US presidents play all of them recently because I don't have a reason, to be honest. And while a significant amount of the horror does rely on, scary loud noise, and that criticism has become very attached to the series, I honestly don't know if it's fair to say that the whole experience is that. I do think there is some atmosphere here. It's a creepy, lonely building at night with these weird animal robots people want to have sex with for some reason. It's a decent setup, I'm not gonna lie. What I just mentioned there, atmosphere, it's remarkably important to horror in my inherently correct opinion, and I find it funny how amongst a veritable sea of realistic horror games with amazing atmosphere, the one game I've played recently that perfectly encapsulates atmosphere is an RPG horror game called Corpse Party. I don't imagine I need to explain Corpse Party, and if you want that, I'd recommend any one of these videos. They do it much better than I could, and also I just don't want to. But to quickly summarize, Corpse Party is an RPG Maker horror game about this group of friends who do a friendship charm, and due to hot girl shenanigans, they end up transported to a spooky elementary school with little ghost kids, a big scary zombie man with a hammer, and lots of death. You probably know the name Corpse Party, especially if you're around my age, somewhere in your 20s, because back in the good old day, this was a very heavily Let's Played game. Is Let's Play still the term? Do kids still watch Let's Plays, or is it all just pedophiles and TikTok now? Corpse Party is a top-down pixel graphic horror game where you control one of the members of this group, and they're all pretty good characters. Except Yuka. We don't like Yuka in this house. She derails the plot because she needs to piss. She's in love with her brother. Yes, in the bad way. We don't like her. But we got Yoshiki, Ayami, Miss Yui. They don't all end with E, I promise. Morishige, Naomi. Okay, maybe a lot of them end with E. Seiko, Satoshi. I meant a lot of them. Mayu. And would you believe me if I said they're all pretty damn good characters? Even the fodder who were only added later to die. And I'm spoiling the game, but like, you've had time. The game is mainly about traversing this terrifying school building that changes and shifts while avoiding these ghosts and wrong ends. Wrong ends are a mechanic where if you do the wrong thing, you get an alternate scenario where something goes horribly wrong and you die, probably most likely. For example, if you don't read the newspaper that you're told not to read, it's in a very specific room, by the way, Naomi tries to eat scissors and dies. Because I guess the newspaper had scissor-eating prevention properties. Likewise, if you do read the victim's memoirs, which you're also told not to do, mind you, your characters end up acting out what's written in the memoirs, which can be pretty annoying, since like they both tell you not to do the thing, and one of them wastes like an hour of your time, which is okay. It gets worse though, like a good solid hour of time totally wasted on something you had no way to predict because one of the actions of one character doing something stupid that could have been easily avoided in multiple ways, but they decided the dangerous way was the best way, and now you're here worse. You do get extra content out of these wrong ends, which is nice, but I'm going to be honest with you, just play with a guide, especially with the fucking body pool thing. I love this game. I know I'm complaining. I love this game though. The atmosphere is so good and dense. Walking around these halls, never sure what's going to pop up next is damn good. It's not a particularly hard game. I mean, there are chasings, but they're never very hard as the ghosts move so slowly, but the immediate threat is a nice mix-up from the otherwise danger-free experience of roaming the halls of Heavenly Host Elementary. What an ominous name for an elementary school. In the original 1998 game, you could actually keep everyone alive. Not so in Corpse Party. Blood-covered fear repeated. Fuck me, is this Corpse Party or Kingdom Hearts?
This might be a good spot to find some ingredients.
In the remake, we're just calling it the remake, they added several characters to die horribly no matter what you do. Seiko gets hanged, Mayu goes splat, Morishige jump from window. I don't know why I struggled on that one. Yui sacrificed herself. These, however, pale in comparison to some of the ways the core cast can die. Poor Ayumi can get torn in half, churned up in a drainage vent, eaten, and I'm sure there's more I've forgotten, but something fun about death in closed spaces, lore stuff you should know. When you die, you get to come back as a ghost and feel the pain you felt in death. For all eternity. Forever. So I hope you didn't like Mayu, because she gets to spend the rest of forever in unimaginable agony, feeling her entire body get splashed against the wall like a water balloon. You enjoying that mental image? Because I'm not. Oh, and I forgot. Don't think putting all these ghost kids to rest means that the closed spaces close, because nope. We appease all the little ghost kids and Sachiko, she's the one in the red dress. But Yuki, the little girl ghost without an eye, lets us know that the closed spaces will simply find a new host. Oh, look at that, her dress is turning red. Like Sachiko. And everybody who died got erased from existence. But hey, Ayumi survived, so that's a win for me, baby! Yeah! I would talk about Silent Hill 2, but I can't afford the remake, and emulating the PS2 original would be like a whole thing for like, what, 10 minutes of B-roll? It's good. What am I meant to say? It's good, it's a good game. I'm just going to do a general survival horror bit instead. Survival horror, your Resident Evils, your Silent Hillses, your Dead Spaces, your lesbian robot simulators. Survival horror is great. I find it does a lot more for me especially than, say, Amnesia or an Outlast, because unlike Amnesia and Outlast, both of which are very good games by the way, well, Outlast is kind of shit. My point is, the option to fight back makes the game far more tense in my opinion, because all of a sudden there's no correct solution. It's down to you to decide how you should handle each threat. Because I tell you, nothing scarier than getting to a boss and remembering you wasted ammo on a zombie you could have avoided. My only option is to run and hide inside a closet or something. The horror kind of gets sucked out of the experience to me, but to be fair, Little Nightmares 2 is very good. Something about Little Nightmares 2 setting really gets under my skin. Being this tiny little child in this huge oversized world with these grotesque, malformed creatures with loose skin or stretchy body parts, it's uncomfortable. While most games with this gameplay setup usually lose their horror appeal a while after you get used to it and realize the only solution for any given encounter is to run, Little Nightmares never quite falls into those trappings. Well, yes, the only solution is to run or hide. You're not running away from some guy. No matter how scary that guy is, like, dude, I could take the Groom. He's weird, but I could take him. And dude, Daniel never even tries to fight back at Amnesia. Like, okay, Camera Boy over here he brought a camera for some reason. He's in a hospital. There's not many improvised weapons you could find here, sure. But man, Amnesia takes place in a mansion. You're telling me you can't find one kitchen knife? Oh, let's pick up a fucking candelabra or something. Look at these things. They're weird and creepy, sure, but look at them. They're lanky and pale. Shit, just pick up a piece of wood and give them a good smack. I'm certain they'll go down. But Little Nightmares? What the hell is this? What are you gonna do against this? Well, this! Especially when the character's like 10 inches tall. You can't hide behind the idea that if you could fight back, you'd win. You can't fight these enemies. I also... I can't be scared of an enemy named Chris. I'm sorry, I can't. They named him Chris. I can't be scared of an enemy named Chris. I'm sorry, I can't. They named him Chris. Why? Traeger is better, but dude, I'd kick Traeger's ass. And the Walrider is Black Mist. I don't like Outlast. Doki Doki long title. I was gonna use Book of Shadows originally because I think that game was surprisingly tense for a visual novel, but I spent way too long talking about Cult Party earlier, so this felt like a much better choice. Psychological horror is fun. Doki Doki does it well by playing the dating sim facade straight for a good while until... Oh, okay... And then the restart without Sayori, and the game's bugging out, and it's all very good. Monica calling you by your name instead of the name you chose at the start is good. The file manipulation thing doesn't really work on console because obviously I can't access the files of the game or see them at all. So Monica deleting files of dead characters doesn't really work. That surreal feeling of noticing they're gone is now lost. I mean, you do have a desktop screen. It works a lot better on an actual computer because this is artificial. What other reason could there be than to put scares here? Music player, I guess? You know, the other surreal stuff works fine. The idea that Monica is sentient and knows she's in a game, falling obsessively in love with you, the player, and turning murderous as a result, it's a fun twist on the usual visual novel romance, where the girls are all inexplicably obsessed with your goofy-ass main character with no charm or charisma to speak of. Now the girls are all obsessively in love with your actual charmless, charisma-devoid self, and forces the others to kill themselves. Or whatever happens to Natsuki. I don't know what this is. Now the only problem is, I kind of like this. Not the obsessive murder, but I don't know. I like Monica. She's cute. She matches my clingy, without the murder. Give me an option to romance Monica, you cowards. Let me play the game like a normal visual novel where I can romance Monica and nothing bad happens. Do it. Do it! I really wanted to get the remaster of Until Dawn, but I'm broke, so enjoy gameplay from the original instead. Until Dawn is the first in a series of interactive horror drama things. Now, I haven't played any of the other games at the time of writing this, but I am a big Until Dawn fan. It's very clearly inspired by like 80s and 90s slasher movies like Friday the 13th, and me personally, I love those movies. You spend a good portion of the game dealing with this mysterious slasher. The game has these little clues left around about the mystery man who worked as a janitor before, and the family of one of the main characters fired him. So you assume it's that guy. But after it's revealed to be Josh, one of the main characters playing a prank, we get introduced to the real threat, the Wendigo. The Wendigo is a really cool mythological creature from a particular sect of folklore that I'm not going to try and pronounce because I'm far too white for that. It's this lanky, grey creature that results from resorting to cannibalism. And they are a really cool enemy to have to contend with because they're fast, they're strong as hell, you can't really hurt them. I also wanted to say I really appreciate that the Wendigo design isn't this stupid fucking deer guy thing. Now, I'm not entirely knowledgeable about this, but as far as I'm aware, this here, this is not at all what the Wendigo was originally. A traditional Wendigo seems to be how they appear in Until Dawn. Emaciated, pale, skinny, lanky. I'm glad they stuck with this design. A, because it's important to respect other cultures, and B, this is just way scarier than this big fucking deer guy, which, like, I don't know, cool Geralt. I'm sure you can handle this fucking thing. Look at him, he's a big deer. I don't care about this. Fuck him. At this point in the script, I have actually played a little bit of the Dark Pictures anthology, and I'm being honest, I think they really struck gold with Until Dawn, and I don't think they've been able to capture this since. House of Ashes comes close, doesn't hit the same though. The cabin in the woods feeling, the impending dread, the misdirection of Victor, his name is Victor by the way, and Josh, you do actually see some hints that we're not just dealing with a slasher. The thing that grabs Jessica early on is clearly not human, but it's easy to miss since you'd be taken aback by the sudden jump. And when the Wendigo is revealed, oh boy is it tense. The game is very tropey, but it also goes away to add a lot of depth underneath it too. Mike is a fairly typical jock character, but he does sincerely care about his friends and Jessica. He actually switches tropes. He starts the cocky douche and ends the game as a more Ash Williams hero type. The old guy who knows about the monster and then gets killed, however, is very, very tropey, but I like that. Like I said, as a fan of Friday the 13th and other slasher films, you get a lot out of this game. It can be fun just to go back through and make different choices, which is more than I can say for most Telltale games, even if I do like them. While capturing footage for this video, I decided to get the Platinum trophies for the game, and honestly, seeing the myriad of ways this cast can die was pretty impressive. Some characters are required for the end scene, like Sam and Mike, but poor Matt can die in like 3 or 4 different ways, including having his face smashed by the Wendigo or pissing off some deer and falling to his death. Reading stuff and paying attention can also help you later in the game. You read that the Wendigo can mimic their prey perfectly. A little while after that, you hear a person screaming for help. You can stay with the group, or you can investigate. However, investigating will lead to your death. It was the Wendigo mimicking a person. The game also focuses a lot on the butterfly effect, and unlike Life is Strange, actually goes away to make that important. You shoot a squirrel for no reason in chapter 1, you monster, you done pissed off nature, and now Matt gets to go meet God. Supermassive really did cook with Until Dawn, and they have yet to cook this hard again. Although I haven't played The Quarry yet. That's next on the agenda, but I really do think Until Dawn is one of a kind. Hoping that remaster does well, and we get more games a little closer to that. Whether it be letting the spooky atmosphere get to you on a late night of solo zombies, the dread and atmosphere of Signalis, or that fucking piano in Super Mario 64, horror is such a unique and interesting genre, especially in video games. Movies kind of have this disconnected feel to them, but when you're at the steering wheel, and you become the target of scary creatures rather than a passive observer, it becomes so much more tangible and frightening, to the point that even a game with fucking SNES graphics could somehow get under your skin and really make you panic. From Mad Father to Resident Evil 8, horror is truly one of a kind.